Good morning, everybody, and all the ships at sea. I don't know. Good morning. So
Morning.
anyway, the word of the day seems to be big data, cloud-based, business analytics, mobile-first, optimized. What do you think, David?
We should add predictive analytics, IoT. It's been a week of trade shows for a bunch of us, right? And we've heard the same things come out of most people, which are those buzzwords across the board.
Yeah, I missed Engadget, but we went to the ad tech and we went to the consumer engagement, or better known as anything can be on an iPad stand.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, and it's funny because there's like 40 people just showing iPad stands. The best one was the water person, the one selling the water purification.
Well, that's an IoT device.
Well, I asked and it wasn't.
The first question I asked everyone I saw at the CSC show was, does your device have a modem in it? Does it have the ability to communicate beyond outside of the little metal box that this tablet's sitting in?
And is it 300 baud?
Yeah, 300 baud. Wow. Those are some fast speeds back in the day.
So,
Okay, so
it's
we've
not
gone.
a Dave show, so it's the Chris and Steve. Chris, Steve, how you doing? How's your cats?
Good.
My cat's good. She's adjusting to life in the cardboard jungle.
My cat will be better when it gets a name later today.
I think we should just call it Dr. Oz.
Yeah.
So, Steve, let's start with you. You went to the Dell show this week
I was there for one day of the Dell show, yes.
in beautiful downtown Austin, my old city.
Yes.
They do their big street fair they usually do, or is that only on the last day?
That was the last day.
Yeah, that's always a good time.
Yeah. They moved a bunch of it indoors because of the weather, so.
What was the weather?
It's very rainy this week. Rainy,
Wow.
yeah, or last week. Yeah. But yeah, some of the same things. Cloud, they launched their cloud marketplace. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
Tell me what that is.
I'm not 100% sure what it is. It's a portal, so you can go in and buy Dell Cloud services from any one of a number of the cloud vendors that they support/resell, right? So kind of the idea of a cloud broker, kind of a single pane of glass to buy whatever cloud service you might want.
So, for instance, what would I buy there?
Like, for instance, you could go and buy infrastructure as a service from one cloud provider and perhaps, CRM as a service from, software as a service from another cloud provider, but manage it all in one central portal.
So that's I don't get what the cloud piece is.
So, is this a Dell infrastructure cloud? So they're competing with Amazon Web Services?
No. In fact,
This is
that's
like the cloud.
yeah. I would say it's the it's probably akin more to something like a right scale. Are you familiar with them?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. So right scale is a similar concept where you use the right scale front end to either go out and buy from Amazon or Azure or Rackspace or whoever, right? But you see all of this infrastructure that you've bought or cloud services that you bought in one centralized portal, right? To allow you to better track your costs and utilization and things. So what
Okay.
Dell is doing is it seems to be a very similar concept. At least that's my interpretation. I haven't got my hands on it.
So was that the focal point of the show primarily? That was the main thing that they were talking about, and that whole ecosystem around it?
They obviously have their own new updates to a bunch of Dell's converged infrastructure, right? And their play was, while you have guys like EMC, VCE, HP splitting up, right, going through all of this fragmentation, right? They're saying, look, we're private, we're solid, right? Come buy that kind of converged infrastructure from us, right?
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah, that was a big thing, and the other big thing was pushing. They're obviously trying to do more with the channel versus their legacy direct model. So it's kind of interesting. I think they said they're going to try and push $125 billion worth of business to the channel, or 120, yeah, some ridiculously large number.
Yeah, that's called the HP model.
It's very interesting. So we'll have to monitor it and see how it works.
So the big
Newly-
thing is that they're not going to be direct anymore. Is that their big thing? Can you
I
guys hear
think
me okay? Can you
I
guys
think
hear me?
they're trying to figure out if they're going to be direct. I think they're going through the same growing pains everybody else has gone through, right? They want some direct, but then they realize that if they're really going to keep growing, they got to do more channels. So they're going to have to figure out that balance.
Interesting. But I'm sorry, guys. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good.
I think we were just
So-
ignoring you.
No, it's okay. I'm used to that from Chris. So
Marhu?
having done a whole bunch of work with Dell lately,
Uh-huh.
it seems like this is that thing. This is that behind selling moment, right? All these channel discussions that are really interesting, they're only interesting to Dell because customers don't want that model. Customers are looking for the people that do everything themselves. Like the old IBM.
Yeah. I think the conflict is obviously the larger enterprises want to buy direct, right, versus buying fraction, parts and pieces from the channel. So
And you can call
Well,
it
I mean,
anything
it
you
could.
want. I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
The other side of it is that the good integrator can put it all together for you.
No, they can't. No, they can't.
In theory.
in theory,
Well, the good integrator, right?
They
But
put a nice proposal together.
yeah.
yeah. So that's the challenge. If Dell can't answer all of your needs and you need to go to somebody else for something else, then
But
that's
there's
the integrator.
nobody left that can do it.
Yep.
There's nobody in the market that can do it. I mean, that's where we come in, right? That's the kind of work that I do, and we have gained and lost business for the same issue.
Mhm.
That they're looking for people that can do the whole thing, and we have the ability to say that we have 12,000 people in the U.S. that are all badged and doing field support.
Right. And that's wonderful, but the challenge there is that there's got to be enough integration to make it worthwhile to come to you as opposed to somebody else. But there can't be too much integration because then the whole thing falls apart. And so there's a delicate balance there because the integrator is going to charge at least a 20 or 30% uplift, which is why the enterprise wants to go directly to source so they can save that a big chunk of that 20%.
Right, but you know what's interesting? Like if you look at IBM or you look at HP or any one of those big guys, they're coming to us and smaller people. I lost a deal to somebody that took 11 partners to cover the United States.
Really?
Yeah. Right? Because the issue that comes up is the integrator never loses money. Right? Because the integrator's got the ability to lower the skill level.
True.
Right? So if you want me to make something cheaper, I'll make it cheaper. I'll just get cheaper people to do the work.
Yeah.
Or blended, right? Isn't that the secret sauce?
The blended.
We're gonna blend them. We're gonna get you a
The
smart guy in
blended
the
model.
front, and we're gonna have a bunch of Keystone caps on the back, but we'll get it done.
The blended model is easy because the blended model means we have a whole bunch of people, and because of the way it's blended, you're always going to get the dumb ones.
Well, that's like going to Vegas, right? The house wins.
That's right. House always wins.
But
Same
you
thing.
can't. But people just don't lose money. It's just no matter what you hear, what you say, what they say, vendors don't lose money.
No.
No, and the reality is most of the hardware manufacturers are having these evaluated solution providers, integrators, whatever we want to call them today, right? They're working razor thin margins in most cases, selling the hardware from these companies and reselling their services. They're making the money off their own services that go on top of it.
Yep.
And by the way, not to bore you with the space, Atos just got rid of all their field support.
Really? Who did they sell it to? Or did they sell it?
I think they just killed it slowly.
Really?
Wow.
So this is the old Siemens.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know who out there can actually deliver field support nationally anymore, except for us.
Well, I mean, hardware is getting smarter and smarter, right? So it's able to diagnose itself and that kind of stuff. So the skill level of needing, to be able to unscrew it and plug something else in is going down. And, I mean, when I first started off in the business, more than 6 weeks ago, right, you had to configure a modem. And it wasn't a little thing. It was a big thing, It took a while to configure a modem. And, nowadays a modem's on a chip and you never even think about it. But nobody has modems, nobody uses modems anymore.
Yeah.
So it's, the hardware's getting smarter and smarter to the point where I just read this morning that DARPA has an $11 million project to create a piece of software to write software.
Yeah. It's the Internet of Things. Your PC's just going to tell you it's broken, it's going to order its own part, and it's going to ship to you. You don't even need field support anymore.
Right. Yeah. But here's what you're missing, because you're absolutely right. When your home PC breaks, you can do something about it.
Yeah.
What you're missing is when you have to turn on 60, 70,000 branch offices countrywide.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
No. Why do you need 60 or 70,000 branch offices?
Okay. You going to get rid of all the stores?
Amazon seems to be putting, putting
Amazon,
some nails in that coffin.
But let's talk about Amazon for a second. I just got something on my special insider thing.
Oh, here we go.
Did you guys hear about the Echo?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Tell me about it.
you got to hear this.
The Echo. Mark, I want to hear your description of this thing.
No. You can take the can. Steve, Chris, Steve, Dave, you guys take it.
I'll take it.
Go for it.
I'm an enabler.
It is a device. It looks like a little cylindrical tube that's got an always-on microphone, right? So you just sit in your living room or wherever, and you yell out questions or whatever to it, right? And it gives you answers or put something in your calendar. It's like one of these Siri-type virtual assistants, but this time from Amazon, right?
Hey, Al.
Yeah, it's their flavor of Google now, basically.
Yeah.
No, it's more like Al.
Yeah.
Don't open the door.
Unlock the pod bay door out.
Mm-hmm. Right, and then I think with the thought being eventually here, you're going to say, "Hey, give me, I need a new TV for my living room," right? And then it's going to order it for you and ship it, right?
I think it's going to go further. I think it's going to say, hey, your TV is only 1080p or 2K, as they call it. Do you realize we're up to 8K now, you moron? I'm going to order you a new one and send it to you. You have enough money in your bank account to pay for it. We'll just put it on credit and charge it and get it done for you, and let you pay for it.
We're tired of hearing you complain about your TV.
I think it's a Bluetooth speaker too, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. That's but something like that. The funniest part is that so here's a device which is basically a digital shopping cart.
Yes.
But they charge you for it.
There's no display.
No display.
It's
all speech.
All speech.
Yeah.
But aren't there apps for your phone that connect to it? I remember seeing. I thought there was an app that also works with your phone.
Could be. I can't remember.
But I mean, all the phones today have got this kind of functionality, right? I mean, I can certainly do all that stuff on my Samsung, and I'm sure you can probably do most of it on your Apples.
What if you have a user that's not into smartphones, has a old school Kindle as the most advanced piece of technology that they have, a regular phone, and
they're going to order something from a little black box?
they can just talk to it. If to start with, it's just a little weather information. It's just, wow, that's cool.
You guys are missing. You guys are missing the point. This thing is always on. It knows what's going on in your house. I can then, if you have like a screaming kid, I know that you have kids. Now you have more big data.
Yeah.
It's cloud based.
And how's that different than Xbox One?
What's that?
How's that different than an Xbox One in someone's house listening all the time?
Don't know. I
Kind of
don't
the
have an
same
Xbox One.
Yeah.
So here's another thing from your friends over at Amazon. I got two other things. The next thing is there seems to be 83 million telephones in warehouses that Amazon made that nobody wants.
What is this, the Fire phone? Isn't that what that thing was called?
I don't know
Yeah.
what it's called.
Yeah, it's a Fire. It didn't quite.
You get one of those for free, and they give you a free year of Prime. It's almost worth just getting the phone for the Prime.
But they're opening up their. I thought they were opening up their first box store in on Broadway.
They are. They're actually so. I know. Okay. Well, there's another thing we can talk about. And
You can get one of those phones there.
We haven't even talked about the
I heard the
great
store was
end
made of
results.
those phones.
So here's the company that put out of business all the other brick and mortar stores. So
Opening
it's
a brick
only
and mortar
logical that's all they open up a brick and mortar store.
Yeah, I don't get that personally, but maybe it's got some other purposes.
So here's my thing. So I went to buy Terry a phone this week. I got the iPhone 6 last night, which was painful to buy from Target. But I had gone to AT&T first, and AT&T's got this big sign, free HD Fire with any purchase of any phone.
Free HD Fire with the what?
Any
Purchase of any
purchase
phone.
of
Any
any
purchase
phone.
of any phone.
Basically, they have this bin in the back. You just take as many as you want on your way out.
Just grab a handful on your way out. Terrible.
Free.
Terrible.
Amazing. Amazon.
Well, it's going to chew up more data, right? So that's how they'll pay for it.
Well, you have to get a 2-year contract with it. So that's enough of Amazon. That's enough of Dell. Microsoft seems like it's going the right way. The people are really liking their misogynist CEO.
Yeah, and they seem to have kind of like jumped on the bandwagon to get word on the iPhone.
Yeah. So let's talk about that first. So the iPhone word, which is great if you have a Plus, or Note. By the way, the iPhone 6 Plus is bigger than the Note 4.
It's taller but narrower, but yes.
It's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I know two people who've already bought one and taken it back.
It's still pocketable, they say, if you have big enough pockets.
It's
Yeah,
not,
only if you weigh 600 pounds.
it's
You have
not
to be an
pocket.
NBA player.
Yeah,
NFL linemen and NBA players can pocket
Yeah.
it.
I was tempted because they did have the phone that I was looking for last night, but I didn't get it because it was a Plus. It's free on the phone. You can do whatever the hell you want to on the phone with it, but it's limited on the iPad.
No, it's limited on both.
I don't think it's limited on both.
Yeah, it's limited on
okay.
both.
So here's the question that I have to the.
Well, let me just bring everybody up to speed.
But I have a question.
So just hold on just a second. So Microsoft released Word and Excel for iPhones and iPads. And both of them are freemium model, which means that you get some stuff for free, and anything else beyond that you have to pay for. So the example that I saw in the article I read was that if you get a document that's formatted in landscape and you want to change it to portrait, you can't do that. If it has 2 columns and you want to make it 3 columns, you can't do that. Those kinds of functionalities are only on the paid version, so you can either pay for it or log in with a Microsoft 365 login. remains to be seen what's going on. But both these apps are at the top of the App Store. I think Word is number 2, right behind the Facebook Messenger, as far as popularity.
So this came out about a year ago.
On the tablet.
No, on both. I've had them both for a long time.
No, yeah, but you're special.
No, everybody's had them both for about a year now. They've been out for about a year. If you look back at when they came out a long time. This is just a reboot of some of the features. And the whole Office suite is available. You can get Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote.
You can even get Outlook.
Can you get Outlook?
Yeah, they've got an Outlook one out too.
Yeah, but isn't that just like a web page version of Outlook wrapped up inside of?
No, it's the 365 version of Outlook.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So here's how everybody's going to use it, because this is the way I'm using it. So I am everybody, therefore everybody uses the way I'm telling them to do it.
Oh, okay.
Here's what it's good for. What the iPhone was missing was a way to do PowerPoints when you got them into your email. And even from day one, you can actually hit a document on Excel, a PowerPoint, or whatever. You can open it now. You could only mean since they came out like a year ago.
Okay.
That's how everybody's going to use them, because still on the phone, editing a document. And actually, the thing that was locked in the original one was not editing, was actually creating a document. You could not create a document unless you were paying for it. Steve, am I right? Didn't they come out like a year ago?
Yeah, it was about a year ago, and that was the big problem. You could view, you could do stuff, but you couldn't. You could edit it, but you couldn't save it, and you couldn't create a new one.
Well, and
Save as, though, if I remember correctly, save as was the one thing that I thought worked.
I don't think it lets you do anything really.
I think the biggie is that to use it a year ago, you had to have an Office 365 subscription.
Nope, don't have
Now
one.
you don't.
No, you didn't have to back then either.
No,
Yeah, you didn't.
unless you wanted to do something substantial with it.
Right, but you could always open a document, Chris.
Yeah.
That's everybody using it, because you could. That was the thing, that you could actually open documents now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that in the CNET article it says this comes just one day after Microsoft dropped the requirement of buying an Office 365 subscription to edit documents in a Word app for the Apple iPhone. I could be wrong, or maybe CNET could be wrong.
They're wrong, because I've used it a year ago with documents. Steve, have you done the same thing?
Yeah, I've used it with documents,
Yeah.
but
And I don't have a 365 account.
no. But I think what they're saying is now. I mean, you had to have a 365 account before to do anything, right? And now you don't.
Yeah.
Right.
But you could always use the item to view files, which was great, Steve, Chris, because you could always put the dongle and put it on a projector.
Yeah.
And you can use all the animation and all that stuff that you couldn't earlier. Before that, you had to do like a PDF or something, or use SharkShare. But Microsoft, with the new CEO, seems to have his, is getting better.
Yeah.
Couldn't get any worse.
Well, didn't they just do something with Dropbox too now?
Yeah, you can have Dropbox onto your 365, so you can keep your documents somewhere else other than Azure. I want to talk to you about Facebook real quick.
Face who? Okay.
Yeah. So there was a this kid always gets in trouble. Mark Zuckerberg got in trouble this week with another one of his discussions, but. The thing I took away from that was really interesting to me was when the reporter asked him, why do you always wear the same shirt? T-shirt. So he gave this answer, which makes a lot of sense to me. He says, well, I have a very busy day. I'm always making decisions. Wearing the same T-shirts allows me to make one less decision a day, and I can use that time to devote it to Facebook.
Right.
Okay.
And the 2.3 seconds that it's going to take him to make a decision on a T-shirt it's going to make.
Right. Just get a freaking butler. Maybe he can dress you in the morning.
Well-
It's like the Steve Jobs answer. I don't want to think about the
It's a
clothes.
crazy
afterwards.
person's
I'm
answer.
willing to bet he used that little moment in time to come up with this Ebola thing that's on this. The Ebola donate button was probably done in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really annoying.
That you can't make go away.
You can, if you're using Safari, you can actually bring the plugin. I think in Chrome too. You can use the extension that takes out the ads in Facebook.
Didn't know about that. I'll be checking that one out.
Yeah. That's all I have. Do you want to talk about Snowflake?
We can talk about it if we want to talk about big data in the cloud.
I don't know. Big data in the cloud optimized for mobile?
Yeah. I mean, we got to get on the bandwagon.
And connect it to IoT devices.
Yeah. It's a new Snowflake is a new startup. A bunch of guys from Microsoft, Oracle, Teradata, I think Cloudera, that have started a new kind of data warehouse cloud platform.
So they're renting space from the NSA in Utah?
They're renting space, I think, today from Amazon, but are building it or extending it to Azure. So hypothetically, you could have your data warehouse across Amazon and Azure, but it will be seamless because you're interfacing with the Snowflake interface, so you don't know where, or you don't need to know where necessarily your computing is happening.
It's actually really interesting. So that really commoditizes these cloud providers where they can actually, like you said, right scale them right across different providers.
Could you tell me that one again, Steve?
So today it's just on Amazon,
Yeah.
right? And it's kind of think of it like a virtual private instance inside of EC2 and S3, right? EC2 being the compute and S3 being their back-end storage. But they're building the platform or extending it to Microsoft Azure, right? So you'll go into your data warehouse through the Snowflake interface, let's call it, right? But you could have the computing happening on Azure or the storage happening on Azure and the compute happening on AWS, right? So you wouldn't necessarily need to worry about where your data is or where your computing is getting done. It's just going to get done for you in the cheapest, fastest, right, platform.
And we've been talking about this for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So this is taking separate clouds and putting them together into a storefront?
Yeah.
Sort of into a data warehouse storefront, right?
No, stormfront.
Yeah.
Just the cloud analogy. Sorry. Okay.
But we've been talking about this for a while, right? We've been talking about the fact that somebody has to come along and kind of aggregate the clouds and be the load balancing between them so you can get the best price, the best performance, or whatever you're looking for. Because every cloud has got its own physical and virtual capabilities.
Yeah.
So guys, how is this different than what the telcos did when they all separate? All the telcos, all the bell companies were broken up. All these other companies popped up, and then each one of those companies would be able to offer you kind of least cost routing models for selling telecommunication services. It's almost the same thing.
It's where it's going to end up, right?
Yeah, that's where it's going. That's how I see it.
Well, I don't know if it's where it's going or where it's coming from, right? Because all these clouds are just carrier-based.
Well, yeah, but then the question is what workloads you're going to be willing to run as an enterprise on these new clouds where you're so far extrapolated, you have no idea where your stuff is living or where it sits.
That's the issue that I continue to hit on. Because if you're a pharma company or if you're a
finance or
financial,
health, medicine,
yeah,
insurance,
right, all BFSI, which is banking, financial services, and insurance on one side, health, what do they call that, Steve? Health
Healthcare.
sciences?
Yeah, health sciences,
Yeah.
healthcare, health
Life
sciences.
sciences.
All those people right off the bat can't do anything or won't do anything. Even if they can, they won't, right? So they're all going to drive their own private cloud,
See,
which is basically a data center. And then you have the other group of people like the Home Depots, right? They're not going to want to put it in the cloud, or the Targets, or all those guys like the mega companies. So who's this play for?
Yeah, I mean, one cloud is problematic enough. If I go to my customers and start talking about 2 clouds or 3 clouds, they're just going to go crazy.
Well, it's still one cloud to your customers, right?
Yeah, it's a to quote them, it's an elastic data warehouse, right? You don't care about the cloud.
It's like a virtual private network. It's like
So your agreement, most customers' agreements with Amazon, talks about the fact you can't even tell where the physical data centers are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm under non-disclosure. I can't tell you where my data physically resides, other than that some of it's in Virginia and some of it's in Oregon, or all of it's in Virginia and Oregon.
Yeah.
All right, and lots of my customers have big heartburn with no, my form says you need to fill in the street address. I'm sorry, I'm under non-disclosure. I can't tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I say I've got some of it in Azure and some of it in HP and some of it in Rackspace and some of it in Amazon,
no, but you wouldn't go that road, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a cluster, right? If you're doing clustering, one of your clusters may be in one data center, and another cluster may be in another data center. Maybe one cluster is in Equinox, and one cluster is in I don't know.
CenturyLink or yeah.
So you're not telling your customers that you're doing that. You have a cluster. So
but
if you
they
do it
ask.
that way,
But they ask.
And you tell them it's in the U.S.
It's in the
Thank
US. They're not going to ask where it is physically.
Actually, yes, they do. That's what I just said.
I understand that.
They ask for the physical address of your data center.
Would you say that to your banking? You do JPMC banking. Do you know where your data is?
Their regulations require them to know where the data is.
Right, but
That's why they say, give me the street address of your data center.
Right, but do you know where it is?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I know it's in Virginia and Oregon. That's as far as I can go.
Right, but it really isn't. Right? Because does it really matter where the data is, or does it matter which path does it take to get there?
Well, under regulations, many industries have to store their data in the United States. If you're in the EU, then you have to get permission to remove the data from the EU, take it anywhere else. Many companies are troubled by storing data anywhere outside of the US or Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And things like that. So, it's like if your data is not stored in the United States or in the EU, we're not going to talk to you. So, yeah, people do care where their data physically is stored.
My point is that you can say where it is, but I don't think any of these companies knows specifically where it is. Right? If AWS has got 4 data centers, do you know where it is?
I don't think it's that rubber. I really don't. I think that it's moving around in the data centers, but I don't think that it's that rubber that it might be in Oregon or it might be in Toledo, Ohio. I don't think it's that soft.
Steve, this is your business. What are you thinking?
I don't. It depends, right? I haven't seen. I think it depends on your customer. I have seen some customers who are very uptight about where physically the data is going to be, but I haven't seen many get as wrapped around the axle about providing a physical address for where the data is versus, to Chris's point, whether it's here in the US or whether it's in the EU or somewhere where we have safe harbor provisions, right? So you can make sure it's accessible, right? Transferable.
So start working with Home Depot or Target or one of these people who's had a breach,
mm-hmm.
and the questions suddenly scale up.
They're not going to go cloud. They're just
Yeah,
not in the cloud.
I think the guys that have the breaches, they're going a whole nother direction at that point.
They haven't even gone cloud with the breaches. Someone got into one of their systems. This is nothing. That's the best part about this. It's nothing to do with cloud.
Yeah.
It's a tough business model then for people like Microsoft 365 and Sprinkler, who has, SaaS-based services, or any of 1,000 other companies that are offering enterprise-grade SaaS services.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it comes down to the workloads.
Yeah.
What are you running and what matters?
So here's another piece. This is what, because Chris, I feel for you. I got the same thing. You know what? There's a lot more smaller businesses than there are bigger businesses.
Yeah, I think it's true. That's really the answer, right? It is going to be a lot of smaller, medium businesses that go there.
And this is what's going to happen. Here's my prediction. As soon as you get the smaller businesses in the cloud that can actually save money, they can actually reduce the cost. The big guys will have to absolutely go there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been to AWS, one of their sites, and I've been to a couple of their sites, and I've also been to a lot of banking data centers. The security in an AWS is 10, 15, 20 times better than the banking. I had a data center that caught on fire because it was put above an air conditioning, and I had another one that had a chemical spill because it was below a chemical dump.
No, there's no question. I mean, my COO used to run Cisco's data centers worldwide, and he said that Amazon is in a class by itself, and their security is superior to just about everything else.
You gotta see the new Cisco stuff. The new Cisco stuff is very impressive.
But I guess to circle back to big data and all that kind of stuff, I guess it's a big issue, and when you see the breaches that we're having today that are happening in private networks, the question becomes, at what point is somebody going to actually hack Amazon? Because it just hasn't happened yet, right?
Sure,
it's probably going to happen.
Sure. And it's probably a lot easier because a lot of those startups don't have really good security. But here's the point about that. When you say hack Amazon, are they hacking an individual container, or are they hacking the whole thing?
So there was a SaaS company that was being a software repository. And he told people, you can store your sensitive software here. It's highly secure, highly protected, and all that kind of stuff. And they were hacked, and all their data was deleted. And the company dried up and blew away. It was gone. It was dead. And it happened, overnight in 24 hours. And they told people they were secure, and evidently their security wasn't that good. And somebody hacked them and erased their data and erased the backups, and they were hosed. And they didn't have a set of backups somewhere else that wasn't touchable, that wasn't connected to what was going on. And, so that's not hacking Amazon in my mind. That's hacking, an Amazon customer.
Right.
And that probably happens every day.
Right. So I have a lot of websites on AWS, right? Mm-hmm. About a year ago, a couple of them got hacked.
Right.
And I mean, that doesn't mean that Amazon got hacked. I got hacked because I did something stupid. Yeah. So I boosted up my security, and now I get noticed.
You changed your passwords from your dog's name to your cat's name?
No, I just put it into password. By the way, if you're trying to hack to my websites, there's no admin account. And the reason I say that is because I have a stream that looks like a Twitter feed of people trying to hack to my websites.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Right, and it's like you can see what they're trying to do. It's like somebody must have wrote a script that says, go to these sites, put in the word admin, and here's all the words you use.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of companies are doing, that they don't have the funds or the know-how to actually use the security stuff that's out there or the knowledge that people have to do that. Like,
Yeah.
like I was hacked. But I don't know if any of the big hacks that went on were cloud-based.
Mm.
No, I don't think any of them have been. I
Right?
don't think so.
The first Target one was about the POS stuff, right?
Right.
And that's
With
about as
POS.
opposite the cloud as it gets, right? I mean,
Yeah.
point of sale system, come on.
Yeah, all of them have been through ancillary systems that are connected to closed networks.
So when we take this back to the whole idea of all this IoT stuff, right? You've got a smart car. You've got cars that are now LTE 4G hotspots, refrigerators that are smart, home appliances. Could those things be looked at ways to go into hack through the end device to get back in through its authentication into the back end networks and
Well,
clouds?
they're doing that now, right? You can.
They've already been hacked. Yeah.
Well, I
Right,
know that's why I'm
there's,
saying that. I mean, that to me is what gets a little scary.
Well, the scary part was not the hack, right? So I'm not worried about the fact that somebody's got a tool out there that they can open any BMW.
Refrigerator.
Yeah, no, cars. They can open cars because of.
Yeah.
The question is going to be what happens when somebody gets smart enough that they can put a virus through that car.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I'm going with that. Or what about, I forgot where I read this, but there was some tests that were done, I think by DARPA, that they made public, where they were actually able to very easily hack power turbine systems and overload them and actually have a turbine break because of overloading it and changing the settings on it. You're talking about, our infrastructure is open now. So that's pretty scary. Someone smart enough, they could set us back to the dark ages. I don't know if you guys have seen any articles on it, but a lot of stuff came out about that this week.
Mm.
I'll have to find the article and send it to you guys. It's crazy.
Okay. So another Sunday, we're going to take our, there's Chris. We're going to stop our recording of our podcast, so please join us next week. If you are on Blog Talk Radio, you can catch us in Hangouts, and guess what? If you're watching us, you can listen to us on the road. This is Marco Junta. You can find me at Marco Junta and the Twitter box. Chris?
This is Chris Keefe. I just got hacked, but anyway, okay. You'll find me in San Francisco starting this Thursday, or see Keefe on the web anywhere.
So this is the last podcast you're going to do from the East Coast for a while?
Yes, it is.
Wow. And talking about the East Coast, my buddy here on the East Coast with me.
Got David Levin here. You can get me at DS Levin on the interwebs, and looking forward to next week.
And from the South?
South, Stephen Webster. You can find me at the cloud.
Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.